Could you do a teammate / team tier list for Mavuika since she has a lot of options? You know what? I'm actually down to do that right now. So, let's put all the characters that you could, like, reasonably use with her. I guess she herself is going to be in there. Sure. Well, no, there's no reason to have her in there. Let me know if you guys think I miss anyone. That Candace C6 procs on normal attack hit, right? Not a normal attack cast. Just want to double check. Yeah. Alright. Saj. I don't really want to include Nilo, but whatever. Okay, who did I miss, chat? I guess we could include her as well. Rosaria. Mona, right? So, obviously the S tier supports are gonna be these, right? I don't think anyone will disagree with this, right? Or I guess I should have a row above for like the actual best in slot supports. You forgot Kazuha? Kazuha's not here. Kazuha's not even the best Anemo unit for her teams. Anyways, in the S tier for like teams that you can make if you're missing either Shilonen or Sitlali, either because they're on your other team or you don't have them, that are not that much worse. Oh wait, I don't have Kazuha at all. Shit, you're right. Okay, he should be in here. That's for sure. That's my bad. And for like the alternatives that don't make the team significantly worse, Sucrose is here if you don't have Shilonen, or if your Bennett isn't available. She can actually replace either of them and be a pretty solid option. Okay, but yeah, so there's Sucrose. Unironically, I think Yelan is here as well. I don't know if Farina is. She probably is. But like, just barely. Right? This as a potential replacement for either Bennett or Shilonen, and these two as potential replacements for Sitlali. Kaya is probably here as well, but only at C6, so like there's a big asterisk to this one. Then, I'm not sure about Ganyu, okay? I need some Ganyu havers to try to figure out a 5-melt rotation on her. If there is a 5-melt rotation on her, she might make it into S. Although she'd still be worse than Kaya, so maybe it'll be on A. I'll try, thank you, I appreciate that. How much ER do you need on Ganyu? Unironically, it's not even that much. Like, you do need ER, obviously. But you gotta keep in mind, right? Like, the main reason why Mona ER requirements are so rough is because, one, she can't catch her own particles. Because you have to E right before you swap off of her. Right? And two, Catalyst users really want to use CTDS if they can. There's no equivalent to that for bow users, which means that you don't really get punished for going Fav. Right? Ganyu is 60 ult. I mean, so is Mona. But, like, sure, yeah. There's also that. Right? Ganyu catches half of her own particles. And, Fav is, like, the default option for her. Also, I think... Yeah. Also, Fav Bow is lowest possible base attack for a 4-star, which means that it has more ER than Fav Codex. Anyways, I don't know if any of the other characters here would make it an S in my eyes. Probably not. Diona. The biggest issue with Diona is that her burst is 20-second cooldown. If her burst was 18-second cooldown, she'd definitely make it an S. But the fact that it's 20 means that her presence on the team extends your rotation a bit, which is kind of ugh. See, Lali can get 2 melts with 3 CAF D1 CAF. That's not gonna work. Your burst runs out after the second F in a C3F ×2 thing. I don't give a shit about melting damage that isn't burst buffed. Like when I talk about 4 or 5 melts, I'm talking about melts of charge attacks that are hitting the enemy during burst. Any damage that you do outside of burst is worthless and garbage, and I don't want to hear about it. Okay? Anyways, I think that's it for the units that I put here. Next up, the units that I put in A. Chat, close your eyes. I think Albedo's here. Maybe not. I don't know, man. Maybe he's here. He's like in between here. No, he's probably here. Okay, let's calm down. Let's calm down. Let's calm down a little. We can probably put Kazuha here for sure. Does Singto make it in here? Maybe like just barely. Shouldn't Chiori be ranked as well then? Yeah, sure. Where is she? There she goes. You won't get a second doll, so she's about as good as Albedo. If anything, she's worse than Albedo because she doesn't give any M buff. You have a little bit of wiggle room for your rotations anyways, because with Bennett, Citlali, Mavuika, you can go through your rotation in less than 18 seconds, which is Mavuika's burst cooldown. So you have a little bit of flexibility for like using abilities on a character, so using Albedo's burst isn't bad. And Albedo's burst actually matters here because it's a team that cares a lot about EM. I think Albedo's probably better than Chiori in her teams. How much EM does Albedo's burst give? 125, I think? Kachina? So when I talk about Albedo, right, I'm talking as like... I'm referring to Albedo in teams where you already have another Natlan character, right? There is no upside to using Kachina in teams where you already have another Natlan character. Use her instead of the other Natlan characters if you don't have them available. And she's pretty fucking bad at it. Like, Kachina goes here, in my eyes. I should also actually have Zhongli. Just realized. I don't have Zhongli in here. Alright, next up, we can talk about Ganyu. I'm still not sure if you can get 5. For now, I'll assume you can only get 4. And she'd be, like, in between A and B. But if you can get 5, she'd be in between A and S. Either way, I'd probably end up putting her in A tier. The characters in D aren't ranked yet. They're not there because they're bad. They're there because I haven't ranked them yet. Okay. Shenhe? Shenhe is just worse than Rosaria, right? I'd probably put her, like, B. Nahida, no E burst bot. That's disgusting, and you should be ashamed of yourself. Jesus Christ. How horrible. How many melts can Diona do? Diona is not supposed to be used as a solo cryo unit. She's used in double cryo with Citlali. And Diona's presence allows you to get 5 melts with Citlali instead of 4. Anyways. Ayato probably goes in B as well. If you don't have the good melt options, I think that like in AoE scenarios, he might actually just be the best Hydro Applicator. But he's kind of bad enough in single target that he doesn't make it any higher than B, no matter, like, anyways. Barbara should also be ranked. The problem with Barbara is that you don't want to do 27 seconds rotations. So you gotta put her on sack frag, which means that she can't use TTDS, which means that she's kind of worthless. Anyways. Ayaka! Ayaka's probably in B. Like, you don't get to melt as much as other characters, but Ayaka's personal damage is higher than other characters. So, it's not as good as, like, the characters that enable, like, great melts or vapes. But it's also not bad. Kokomi probably makes it an A. The biggest issue with Kokomi is that her skill AoE is just pretty small and it can't be moved, which is really annoying. It's a similar issue to Rosaria, but Rosaria's AoE is bigger than Kokomi's. And you have a little bit more control over where it spawns. So it's like, yeah, it's alright. Auroron is probably in B tier. Just because he's a functional, like, fighting spirit generator for her in Overload teams, but maybe more importantly, for her in Vape teams for people who don't have the good stuff, or so who don't have Shilonen or Sitlali. Is Pyro MC the same tier as Auron? Pyro MC is awful. Not even gonna be on the list. I can't think of a single situation where you'd rather play Pyro MC over Kachina, and Kachina's free. So I can't think of a team where you'd want Pyro MC. The great battery. I mean, anyways, Nilo, like, technically works, but it's really not it. AoE isn't the best. It's functional. It's alright. Pyro MC that bad? The thing about Pyro MC is that they don't really give anything to Mavuika. Like, if you look at this list, you'll realize that the only 2 Pyro units that are here are Chevalers and Bennett. Right? It's not like you're looking for Pyro units. You're just looking for units of elements other than Pyro. And then Chevalers and Bennett are so good that they can still make it into the list. You know? Pyro MC is not. Anyways. Layla. Layla's purpose kind of just... Oh. Do you get a 5 melt setup? I'll take a look at it. Oh wait, that's Pyro MC. Ooh, ew! Ew! Why would you do this? Pyro MC yoinked some fucking vapes already? That's not ideal. Alright, we're already losing some vapes. Did we get a single vape charge attack? Oh, we got 1 vape charge attack. Insane. Thank you, Pyro MC. See, burst almost... Yeah, but, like, that's not the only... That's not the only element that matters, you know? Like, there are other things that matter. Anemo, it's better than Kachina. I mean, if this is the best thing you can do with this, it's definitely not. But maybe I could find some rotations with it. But, like, either way, it's not like Kachina's fucking good anyways, right? I'll do some testing with it after I'm done with the quest. But I'm not too optimistic. Probably better with Yulon, it might be, yeah. Anyways, Layla's biggest issue is that she's not enough app as solo Cryo. And her default role is a shielder that isn't that bad offensively, but she is worse offensively than non-shielders. Right? The thing is that in Mavuika teams, right, she's not enough as solo Cryo, so you would need to use her in double Cryo. And if you're using her in double Cryo, with Bennett and Mavuika, that means that the last slot, if you want an Atlan support, has to be Sitlali. And if you have Sitlali, you already have a shield, and shields don't stack. Which means there's kind of just no situation where Layla's good. The only situation where she can be fine is if you do a no Bennett team with Shilonen double Cryo. But, like, don't do that, you know? And because of that, Layla's kind of ass. She stays in the D tier. Alright, it's just an unfortunate reality that she has role overlap with Sitlali, but she can't actually replace her. Like, she's also a Cryo shielder, but you can't replace Sitlali with her. Because you won't have enough app, and you won't have Night Soul generation. Or Fighting Spirit generation. Anyways, Charlotte! Wait, how many reacts did you get with her? 3? Probably stays in D tier as well, then. Like, the amount of reacts isn't that bad, but long skill animation and, like, omega cringe ER requirements if you try to put her on TTDS. Alright, it's 80 cost burst. Wait, does she get any energy restoration here? She doesn't, right? Or am I cornge? Oh no, it does. Restores 2 energy. And how many times does that happen? 5 times? So it's a 70 cost burst, basically? But, like, that's still really fucking high. Plus, you have to hold her E while you're not shielded, just fucking standing there looking like an idiot. Yeah. No, thank you. Not it. Chevreuse! This might be a hot take, but Chevreuse also stays in the D tier. I really don't like the Mavuika Chevreuse teams, like, at all. They're not awful, but they're also just not good. Lanyan, when she comes out, will probably be kind of whatever. Because default team, right? You want Mavuika, you want Bennett. And you want at least one Natlan character. If your Natlan character is Shilonen, Lanyan means you won't get reactions, which is not ideal. If your Natlan character is Sitlali, you already have a shield, which means Lanyan's defensive utility is not all that relevant. But VV, yeah, but like, why use Lanyan over Sucrose? And TDDS, Sitlali is giving you TDDS. You can't alter your rotation to swap from Lanyan to Mavuika without fucking over your reactions. That's why in the Sucrose team, you don't put Sucrose on TDDS, you put Sitlali on TDDS. Even if it would be more damage, if you could somehow make it work with Sucrose on TDDS and Sitlali on Slack Frag, or another damage weapon. You can just Mavuika, Shilonen, Bennett, Lanyan. Yeah, you can. But that's a non-reaction team, which are significantly worse than Mavuika's reaction teams, right? I'm not saying that she doesn't work. She will work, but she's mainly going to be an option as a replacement to Kazuha on the non-reaction teams for the like Monopyro stuff. That's her main purpose. I do think that the Monopyro teams are going to be much better than the Chevreuse teams. So I will probably put her in C instead of D. But they are, in my opinion, fairly significantly behind the reaction teams. But they're still good teams, so like it's fine. Just play them on Cryo / Hydro Infused enemy, and why is Lanyan on the team if the enemy is Cryo / Hydro Infused? You're not getting a Pyro Swirl. He's just there for the shield. Zhongli would do better. It is what it is. How is Shenhen B tier double Cryo? Yeah, double Cryo. How is Yelan and S? Yelan is really good with Mavuika. Yelan Mavuika is probably the most underrated Mavuika team right now. It's not as good as Sitlali, because, like, nothing is, but it's probably the strongest non-Sitlali team. Do you even normal attacks? You don't have to. We'll get back to it in a second. But before that, Mona. With Mona, from my testing, it seems like you're able to get 4 Vapes, which isn't bad at all. However, Mona has a lot of gameplay issues, right? One, it's pretty much impossible to get enough ER to use TTDS, so you're going to be on Fav. Or, I guess more realistically, you're going to be on TTDS, but you're not going to be on, you're going to be on 2-piece, Cinder City Emblem. So that you can somehow manage to reach your ER requirements. But even then, right, Mona's EAOE is, like, so small, and, unironically, taunts tend to be actively bad because they make manipulating enemy AI significantly harder. Especially when you need the enemies to not move too much. Against enemies that don't move at all, Mona would probably be, like, at the very bottom of A. But because of the amount of practical issues that she has, I think she'll be in B instead. Like, towards the bottom of B. And finally, you have Zhongli, which has a decent amount of, like, similar issues to to Lanyan, right? Where the main reason to use Zhongli is if you already have managed to fulfill your reaction and cryo obligation requirement, or sorry, your reaction and your fighting spirit requirements in the rest of the team. But if you're using Bennett, that means that the only character that fulfills the cryo app and fighting spirit requirement is Siglali, which means you already have a shielder, which means Zhongli's kind of you may be able to use him in teams that don't use Bennett, and he'll be fine in there. But I think he goes in C.